Hello and welcome back. I've got a little bit of music playing in the background, pure tones, 285 hertz. Hopefully it doesn't, hopefully you don't find it too annoying. I listen to a lot of those pure tone frequencies. This one helps regenerate tissue, body tissues and so on. Anyways, in this video, I wanted to talk about habits and how to change your habits according to the Buddhist philosophy, and also according to my own experience related to Buddhist philosophy and how I did it before ever. So anyways, so habits. When a person finds something that they seem to align with, if you look carefully, you'll notice that your thoughts about that object or this new thing that you're doing are very positive, and everything you say inside of yourself are all basically positive affirmations. So you might start eating a new food, chocolate for example, and in your mind it says, wow, this is so good, or so on and so on, and it'll create this positive story. And the vast majority of each affirmation you say inside of yourself are going to be on the positive side. And what happens is, in this way, you learn by repeating the positive affirmation in your mind that this is good, this is good, this is good. So then it gives yourself permission to repeat it. Your mind creates its own gateway, if you will, for you to start repeating something because your last experience of it was so good. Your mind told you countless times while you were eating it how good it was. And oftentimes the story of how good it is stays in your mind for some time after. So then the next time you eat it, that chocolate, again, the story comes in and reinforces your memory. And in this way, through about 3 weeks' time, it starts to become a habit and moves from a conscious decision more and more into an unconscious decision, something that you do without your conscious control or decision-making process, largely. You notice yourself not being able to stop, basically. Sometimes the urge slowly starts to become stronger than your ability to make a rational decision based on fact. For example, I'm full already, but that chocolate looks so good. And then you remember how good it was. So your mind will replay those positive affirmations. And the weight of the positive affirmations will outweigh the weight of the negative ones, because you've affirmed all of those positive qualities every time you've eaten it. So you've created this overvalued belief about chocolate. So now you can't do anything but follow this unconscious urge, because the power that you put into it in the form of positive affirmations is so large now. The gravity, the weight, if you will, is much higher, heavier, pulls harder than the tiny little, but I shouldn't. So it just overwhelms that decision making. And once I've said about 3 weeks, this becomes your new habit, your new reality. 3 weeks, 3 months, it comes in threes. So then now you've created a new habit. So this is how we go about creating habits. By repeating and repeating the positive qualities and being proved that they are real each time we experience it again by saying those words again. So you're brainwashing yourself, basically. It's basically what it is. It's basically what it is. So in order to break a habit, the Buddha suggests looking at things from a middle standpoint, not based on your pleasure senses or the opposite, not to use your physical senses and how pleasurable it is as a guide to whether or not you should do something, but instead to look at the facts. What is it that I know about chocolate? So while you're eating your chocolate, to balance off those positive affirmations with also factual affirmations. So you want to bring in the facts, the reality as close as you can about chocolate and how it relates to you mentally, emotionally, physically, and practice developing affirmations that are not positive or negative, but simply factual, so that you're not forced to jump into a negative habit by the force of your pleasure. Because this is a very powerful, unconscious, habit-creating thing within a human being. So when you eat chocolate, for example, the mind might automatically say, yes, this tastes really good. Recognizing that that's from pleasure. Yum, I touch my tongue, my mind immediately said it's good. I feel that. Now also, to bring in the simple fact that it's not good for my teeth. Not to say that it's bad. You want to avoid saying good and bad things about it, but just factual. Eating too much chocolate or chocolate in general can be bad for my teeth if I don't brush them. Also the sugar that it is in here, especially if you've eaten bad most of the day. I don't need this right now. What I'm actually doing is following my pleasure versus what I know is right for my body. Looking at it factually. Is it good for me? There's also some good qualities of chocolate, and there's also some good qualities of fat, or of bad qualities of chocolate, There's good and bad. So looking at it from a middle standpoint, and then consulting your body. Did I just eat? What did I eat today? Knowing that you want to have green in your diet, you want to have a lot of water. So what it requires in order for you to change a habit or avoid having your pleasure pull you into an unconscious habit is look at things factually from the beginning. And if you can't do it from the beginning, if you're already hooked on something, you just have to expect it. It might take some time for you to rewire those affirmations in your brain. So what happens is, after some period of time, when you start to look at things not positive or negative, but just as it is, you don't develop the pull to either love something, really overvalue it, or hate something, undervalue it. Freeing yourself from that emotional component, you can make a more rational decision whether or not you should eat that or not. Does this make sense? So the right way to go about habits is to be aware of the process of habit building as it's happening within you, and to correct any positive affirmations that are made by the mind automatically, that are made by sensory pleasure. Okay? So also sometimes your mind might value something because it wants to fit into certain societies, groups. So if smoking is popular, even if you don't enjoy the taste of it, in your mind, you might see it as valuable. So you overvalue smoking. You say, if I smoke, I will be looked on as similar to these people, and you see that as a good thing. So it's not necessarily only to do with the physical senses either. It has more to do with how much you value something. If you deeply value what doing something will give you, then that is enough reason to develop a habit too. What I'm trying to say really is whatever you tell yourself in your mind, eventually you will believe it. And you want to give yourself the best chance of making a rational, logical decision by giving the positive and the negative qualities. So you can look at a habit that is starting or that you've been doing for some time objectively. By looking at it objectively, which is possible, you can then start to diminish the value you've given of something if it's not really true, if it's only something that you want because you're getting. I want this because I'm getting this. I want to eat this because it tastes good. You know, that sort of thing. It might be a little bit misleading there too, because if you're trying to quit smoking, you could say, I want to quit smoking because I want to be healthy. So let's just forget I said that part. So breaking habits, very difficult because it doesn't happen at the speed often that we want it to, and the progress to breaking a bad habit might be very slow in comparison to how quickly it came. So it's okay to do something. I need to say this. It's okay to do something because of something. You just want to be careful that the because is in line with the truth. I want to quit smoking because it's killing me slowly. If that's not a good enough reason, I don't know what it is, or what is a good enough reason. That because is better than I want to smoke because it'll make me popular, or people will see me as cool, or people will see me and recognize me as one of their own. So you want to use, and the Buddha encourages you to use your logic, your mind, to discern whether or not something makes sense, really. So if you notice your habits, any new habit you're forming, or old habit you already have, if you notice the thoughts about it are very heavy in the side of overvaluation, then that is a clear sign that it's time to rewire the words and create a habit, a new habit of when your mind says this, whatever the overvalue affirmations are, to correct it and balance it in as truthful of a way that you can. Watching this process inside of yourself, what happens, what you'll notice is that there becomes a shift. You become more, you feel this shift where at one time you were completely here, and then all of a sudden you see, yes, that is true. I like this, but also it is not good for me. So the first step to breaking a habit is to recognizing that at some form, some part within you is addicted to it, that it's a habit, it's an unconscious habit. Let's drop the word addiction. It's an unconscious habit. So then you realize that something you want to change it. This desire to change that habit, that's one of the first things that need to come. after that realization. It's not good, it's not right, there's something, for me, I'm doing more harm than good. I want to change this now. When you're here, when you come to this realization, it's important to not let the heaviness of this habit swing you into a negative state of mind where you feel as though you can't. Because this is very common, especially today, among the youth, have this feeling of, they'll say, fuck it. I have all of these bad habits. It's overwhelming, to the idea of fixing them, because when you try, it takes long. So we say, fuck it. And a lot of people fall into depression. So this is very important, very careful when you're working with habits, that you're aware when you see this happening. Don't let that negative self-talk bring you into a new habit of beating yourself up. Being aware that every affirmation, positive or negative, that you make has the power to become an unconscious habit. And these affect how you feel, how you act. They affect you on some level. Knowing this, it's important to create unconscious habits. It's important to create unconscious habits that will help you to feel good, help you to be more forgiving, loving, and see things truthfully as you can with the information that you have. So, I leave you with that. Happy habit forming wherever you are around the world, whatever time it is that you're watching this video. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.